All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead.
You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right. So again, I'm not griping, and some of you might be griping over it. The reality is, I was in a Kansas-based MASH hospital. I was, for Big Red One, so I would have, been most favored patient status. I also knew the adjutant of the MASH hospital. I trained dogs with him. He was an Egyptian guy. I trained dogs with him in Topeka prior to, being deployed. So there was no way they would have, unless it was actually a dire emergency, they wouldn't have put us out. There's probably the only people that probably know about it are the people that were in the hospital, the Kurds, the special forces, some CIA, and then whoever approved it higher up. It was a sensitive kind of thing because you're going to put U.S. military out of the hospital and bring the Kurds in, and the hygiene was horrible. I mean, they were displaced, they're refugees. And when they came in, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go anyway. So what happened is I was supposed to eat a solid meal. And the whole time I'm in there, I'm watching people eat steak and shrimp. And I'm like, drinking liquids, broth or something. I got to the point. Now, nobody actually knows for sure whether this was part of Saddam's, bacterial, vermin type of biological warfare. But they did say if I hadn't, based upon my vitals, if I hadn't been brought in when I was, I could have been dead. If they had left me, it was Lieutenant Chi, because he was the XO at that point. He came back and picked up the radio guys. They sent me to the rear. Man, it was a big screw. Everybody acted like I was at the rec center playing, ping pong or something. We had no supplies, and they picked up the radio guys, and like one radio guy, commo guy that was with me. We are just supposed to build a stand down point, and they were supposed to follow within days. And they changed the plans and just left me down there. And I did it right. I pasted off. I used engineer tape to tape it off, where the vehicles would sit. So I ended up in the hospital. They did say I would have been dead, if they didn't bring me in and they left me there, I'd have been dead. That's simple. Outpost Zulu. But they were building a rec center like off in the distance, but it hadn't been built yet. I think we left before we actually ever used it. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I was supposed to eat. I ate like a pudding dinner or something the night before. So they said, okay, tomorrow you'll have a real meal. This just shows you how Satan curses me. Now I did get burgers when I got to that. Like you get recycled. They go through the whole thing. You get recycled, and I actually, go back to I had to get myself back to my unit. I told them, look, I'm attached to 7th Corps. I'm not 7th Corps. If you send me to 7th Corps, they're not going to have anything to do, to help me. So I'm sitting there in this tent, like with the HQ dudes or whatever. But I think the sides were rolled up or something, and I was trying to tell them that I'm not in their system. And again, it's one of those things. How the hell do I know that that's happening? How do I know I'm not in their system? Obviously this is happening all the time. I know things that I can't possibly know. So, but back then I didn't realize anything. So I said, I'm not in your system. Not hearing anything, not seeing anything. It's just, I just knew. So, so just as the guy goes, you're not in our system, the truck from the replacement center drives by. And I'm like, well, there they go. They can't get me somewhere because I could kind of probably get them to my unit or something like that. I figured, or I don't remember what I was thinking, but so then I get this thought, whatever the engineer battalion was, I don't know, 20th or I don't know who they are, whatever they were attached to 7th Corps. I said, do you know do you know where they are? Do they pick up mail or anything? And he goes, yeah, they do. I said, I'll get a ride with them because I know where I am in relation to where they are. Some engineers from Germany, right? So, so I kind of rode with that. It was a bouncy ride. I had a couple burgers. I didn't have anything big. I had a couple burgers there. I spent like 2 or 3 days at the replacement center, but I was still under the weather. I mean, everybody else is like, partying in the tents, with movies and stuff. I just still recovering. And then as soon as I get back to the stand down point that I helped set up, they go, "Oh, you have to go back up. You have to go back up. They want you back up there." So they drive me out there. I get in our track, and then we drive south. I mean, the stupidity. Right? But Deep State used that against me. Now I know what it was. Right. Well, in fact, I was probably wounded because I was put on that mission. And why did they put me on the mission? Because they know I could accomplish it. You can tell me go south, the length of about two U.S. states and do something for us without supervision. Right. So yeah, it was pretty bad at that point. I remember they started coming in. I'm like, ooh. I took my blanket and put it up over my head. I'm like, no way. And I hadn't had a proper, rinse in a while either, but I wasn't that bad. They were out there, and again, the Kurds back then and weren't the greatest, the best hygiene to begin with, and they were they were some more Islamic and things like that. Right. So they started evacing the civilians in and discharging us before I had my first solid meal. I was like, ah. What do you want for dinner? Yeah, ribeye steak sounds good. And they're like, we're going to discharge you. You got to go. Boop. What about my? What? Yeah, when you sleep, you don't notice it either. I mean, you don't notice it. I mean, they notice it. And that's what's, well, it makes them paranoid because they're all doing something wrong. Right. If you can see things that there's no way that you could know, then they're paranoid. Right. So when I never thought like I could have fixed that if I knew from the beginning. So this is with the whole part about not going into the VA right away. Right, we could have recreated those records pretty quick. Well, because the MASH hospital still existed. And it wasn't until later that they started changing designations. Right. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that went on that's not in the CIA record, because I saw something online, at least online, you know. We were definitely exposed, but and again, having taken those pills, I think they were manufactured in Amsterdam. Uh, we took some anti pills. What was it for? Anthrax and stuff like that. It would have been a minor contamination compared to a full on military. That was the biggest realization of what most likely happened. That there were no, as far as they know, and there could have been, but we don't know right at this point. But there were no, as far as they thought, there was no direct exposure. There was like residual kind of half exposure because it went up into the air or whatever it was. But again, people died, and I don't think they wanted any political fallout. So I think there was a cover up. People came home and they were dead. A high level of death. So it took till probably the last 7 years, and I may have been one of the reasons. Right? 7 years, I guess, is what it would best say. That they actually began looking at the environmental issues. 7, 8 years. Well, because I think there was a cover up. So that's what screwed it up. They had good intention in the beginning, but the program lost its juice, especially when the wounded military started coming back from the later wars. But what that's kind of really why I didn't fight as hard as I did, because I said, look at these guys coming back. I'm not going to take away from them, and maybe whatever it is, and right. But I did try, and again, the deep state's attacking me the whole time, and one of their goals is to stop me from getting disability. This is how bad they are, while they're living millionaire lives for being crooks. Right. We're the best of the best now. That lawnmower is pretty nice I got, but the metal deck is more bouncy on rough terrain than the whatever the non-metal deck that they use. Or the material is. It absorbs a lot of that vibration, and the other one, I'm like, this one's like ding 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 ding. If I had a smooth lawn, even with the slope, it'd have been a much better. It's just not a flat lawn. It's just got a lot of little ruts in it and stuff. But it eats it up pretty good compared to my other one. I get my projects for today. I gotta put a base on my one cabinet I built. It's a big, huge cabinet, but I gotta put 3 legs in the front, 3 legs in the back. So I'm gonna put a flat piece of wood on the bottom, like a 1 by, I think it's 20 or something like that. 1 by 20 by 72, but I got to cut it down to like 63. And then get those legs on there. It's taking up all my front room because it's so big. It's one of those like tall tree things, but I never got the decorative feet on it. But it's a very joyous time in Pennsylvania. We're heading into the fall, the earlier fall, the late summer, I didn't realize it cooled so much in the late summer here. Now they did forecast a little hotter than they had forecasted, but another couple weeks, the hot stuff will be over. It's actually over now, but it'll be even nicer. Fall in Pennsylvania is always nice. Early fall, late summer. This is one of the cooler, I guess, locations in Pennsylvania, which means this is a great choice that I never saw. I wish I had seen. I probably was getting accused because you go to Harbor Freight, and some of the stuff's called Pittsburgh, but I couldn't see it. I still can't see it, but I noticed it yesterday. It was a Harbor Freight. I'm like, oh yeah, Pittsburgh. I was probably getting cued the whole time from my son. Pittsburgh, go to Pittsburgh. But yeah, I think Fetterman, and I'm probably in there with him somewhere with some sort of vibration. That's how the world really works. But Fetterman and McCormick are trying to get back to where we were. Now, Fetterman's a little bit right of where most Democrats were, but back in the day, that happened, and there were Republicans that were left of where most Republicans were. I mean, it's just the way things work because you can't. There is no single answer. And again, that's why they're calling Trump a liberal, because when he gets to the point, or a socialist, because when he gets to a certain point, and I've said this for years, when you get to a certain point of the equation, again, military thinking is the way you do it, really. Because when you're in the military and you're confronted with a problem, you use everything and everything and everybody you can. So when you get to some issues, you have to be a socialist, or you can't fix the issue. And it isn't really socialist. It's just a social programming is different than socialist. But again, a lot of people have bought into the rhetoric where everything social is. But you see, you can't succeed as a capitalistic conservative without taking care of certain social issues, especially now the country's so big. Well, stay peaceful, praise God, and all to do, praise God.